in a minute.
Good evening, people. Happy Sunday. Good evening to all my beautiful Black people. Today is Sunday. This is the day that we do the Black Wealth Project. The Black Wealth Project is the project and the show that we do every week to kind of talk about all things Black wealth, Black money, Black health, Black politics. If it's about Black wealth and it affects Black wealth, we talk about it and it's on the table. Tonight's topic: how do we create, or let me back that up. Are we entitled to safe spaces? Are Black people entitled to safe spaces? And then in turn, how do we create those safe spaces? And then how do we protect those safe spaces? So everybody, again, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. How y'all doing tonight, team?
Oh man, can't complain, man. I'm a little angry right now, just in general, but you know, it's all good, man. I'm glad to be here with y'all.
Tell the people why you mad. Tell the people why you mad, son. I feel like
no, man. I got caught in the rabbit hole today reading about civil asset forfeiture. So I've already shared with you guys that when you start to read about how our people are being taken advantage of when it comes to that, it's just sad. It's just another way we're being attacked. And you know, I kind of knew, but I didn't know. Like I didn't know the data. You know, it's one of those things where you know that it happens. Courtney talks about it often, but it's like when you start to actually look at the data and see how affected our community is very sad and very angering. I should put it that way.
Well, we'll have to definitely do a show on that, like you suggested. So it's coming.
Just for the record, villains chill. There's no villain that chills more than me. I'm chilling like a villain. There's no more villains. Nobody that chills harder. No, I'm just funny.
All right. How you doing, Courtney?
I'm good.
Okay.
Courtney is on fire right now. She ain't good, but she just gonna put the pretty face on so y'all don't know how burnt up she really is right now.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Me. All right, listen, everybody. As y'all checking in, make sure you check in. Tell us where you're calling from or hailing from. Tell us your name, where you're hailing from, and what you think about tonight's topic. Tonight's topic, again, is: should Black people or are Black people entitled to safe spaces? Again, are Black people entitled to safe spaces? So go ahead and throw it in the chat as we get ready to get going. And I know this week has been crazy. I think I've been derelict at my duties, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on my back. Nobody has the BOB of the week, so I'm going to take the BOB of the week this week.
Oh man!
So it's all good. It's all good. I'm going to promote David Sims from Eatable Delights. Again, David Sims from Eatable Delights. He laced me for I don't even know what to call this day. That day they call Thanksgiving. He made a meal because we didn't feel like cooking, especially with all these COVID spikes, and he did a great job. But Dave always does a great job. And so I just want to show his website real quick. If anybody needs any catering, I know he's also running a Christmas special as well. So again, if you need some food, hit him up.
I'm hitting him up.
Yes, because you know it's really funny, right? All the quote unquote holidays have been kind of abbreviated, and nobody wants to just cook for like 3 people or 4 people. So it becomes a little challenging. Definitely becomes challenging. So that's his site, Eatable Delights Catering, eatabledelights.com.
Ooh, that's lamb. Yes.
That's lamb. He makes great lamb. He makes great salmon, and his turkey.
Oh, that's salmon. That's salmon.
Yeah.
And his beef ribs are really good too for all my beef eaters.
Yes, I'm here for this. I'm so excited because I miss, and the thing is that I think we have to remind each other that you have to kind of plan ahead, because I know like with Christmas, with Thanksgiving, I think I was only starting to think about it maybe like a day or 2 before, because just the COVID like just had me all confused and turned around. Next thing I knew, I was supposed to order no later than the Friday before, at some places the Monday before. And I was like, oh my goodness, I jammed myself up because I just wasn't thinking far enough ahead. So I'm glad that you brought this up. So I'm going to look on the menu now to say, okay, what am I going to order for Christmas, and put it in now so I don't forget.
Right. So remember also, y'all, I need a favor. We need a favor. Help us out. Share with us in the room, in the Black Wealth Project group. Let us know what some of your most favorite Black-owned businesses are. Every week, we want to highlight a Black business. It's important that we keep the flow of money in our communities. We give too much of our money away, folks. When we give our money away, we give our power away. All right. Every dollar that we spend with somebody else is a bullet we needed for our community. So y'all keep that in mind. But all right.
Kamar, real quick, can I say something though, real quick? I want to give a shout out to Don Scott Art. This is another black-owned clothing, DNTN brand.
That look like Dipset.
Well, you know, that's partly why I got it
That's
too.
the
You know,
movement.
Dipset Bergen. But anyway, no. So at DNTN brand on Instagram, and his personal is Don Scott Art. So he got a clothing brand. So I want to give him a shout out. But
I want to give a shout out to the designer of this shirt, Jimmy Williams. Out of hood.
I'm for it.
We always, you know, we rep the, you know, black businesses extra heavy and extra hard.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you never catch me in the streets without a Bada Hood hat or a Bada Hood t-shirt, because that's what we do.
And since we're repping black designers and black business owners, let's go ahead and rep the financial as well. Shout outs to his designer Kamari Ellis for making a great design.
Oh my gosh!
How about the who made the Scoofy though? Like we gonna get a Scoofy shout out or no?
Yes. You know what? Yes. So Jimmy, since you gave it that name based on Corey, please explain to people what a Scoofy is.
Yeah, Kamari got on a half Koofy, half skull cap, so we called it Scoofy. He looks like he about to drop the Confessions album. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, you wrong for that. You
Yo,
wrong.
real quick though. Shout out to Monica, my wife, who's in the chat. We had an argument today. She's trying to tell me that 8701 is better than Confessions. I want y'all to tell her she's crazy.
Yeah.
Monica,
I see y'all in the
you,
chat
girl.
too, though.
No,
I love you.
Yeah, you out there in mine. I love you too.
No,
No.
Confessions is the best of all time. First of all, it's
Confessions is that's his magnum opus, dog. That's his thriller. Confessions is his
That's it.
thriller. Like,
That's
I
it.
don't know. 8701 is
no, 8701 is fire.
No,
She's
fire.
bugging, though.
But it's not even on the same planetary. It's not even in the same planetary orbit as Confession.
Flag on the play. We not doing marital counseling on this show, man. We not doing that. I don't want no beef with Monica. Bro. When I come over, I want to know that the food is cool, and I got no issues.
To the folks watching, though, I want to know what y'all think, yo. 8701 or Confessions. What y'all think, man? Let me know.
All right,
These are the kind of conversations you have in black spaces, right?
Absolutely. And this is
safe black spaces.
Safe black spaces.
That's right. So the brand who made this, the young lady who made this is named The Hungry Brand. You can find them on Instagram. Actually, I wore another one of her hats, and I've been getting her business. So I really feel honored when I can wear something and get somebody some business. Because to me, one of the highest things you can do in terms of honorability and representing the community is recommend another black business or help generate business for a black-owned business in our community. So I'm honored to wear this for her.
And what's the Instagram name again? Kamar, I want to make sure I go to it. What is it?
Branded Hungry Brand. Hold on, give me 1 second. I will pull it up right this second.
Okay.
Yo, even though we talking trash about that Scully, that joint's super fire. Like
I really like
that joint is.
No, it's fire. It's absolute fire. You got the RBG. You know, since I saw that, I wanted one.
You know, Human Torch. That joint, Human Torch fire.
The Hungry Brand. The Hungry Brand. So if anybody sees anything over there, her and my son are homies. So it's a young black sister doing her thing. And so, you know, I had to support she maybe some other stuff. There's another Scully on there that y'all saw me wear that y'all said y'all like that I got from her as well. She definitely has talent.
Okay, yeah. We're going to support that. We're going to support that.
Absolutely. All right. So tonight's conversation, and we are missing 2 out of the 6. Tracy's missing and Malik's missing. I think Malik is trying to come back on now. Malik has been dissing us for Chatty House. He's been over there having a good old time. But Tracy and Malik, I believe Tracy's out somewhere doing a deal. Y'all know when Tracy gets a listing, it's getting sold. So in order to get them listings sold, she got to stay busy and be out there networking. So, but as we get going with the rest of our normally programmed session, how do we create these safe spaces, y'all? And are we entitled to these safe spaces? And how do we protect these safe spaces? So put y'all comments in the chat. I definitely want to hear what you all have to say.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at the Confessions. It looks like Confessions is winning.
Yeah, man, she bugging. She bugging. Shout out to Adrian though. I see your comment, Adrian. But
she just rolled for GP.
Yeah. To answer your question though, Kamari, I'll get us started in this conversation. We definitely are entitled to it. I know some folks, some 6Fs don't believe that we are entitled to our safe spaces.
Did you use a hex code? Did you use the hex code?
For those who don't know what a 6F is, just do your Googles. Let's just leave it there right now. But let me continue.
Isn't it 6FF? Isn't it double F?
It's 6Fs, man. Like it's 6Fs, man. 6Fs. But anyway,
I got you.
Yes. But anyway, what I mean by that is you see them pop up in our spaces, and I noticed this in being on Chatty House Clubhouse, so we have these conversations amongst each other, and they come in and try to dominate a room, but you see it in real life as well. And one of the things that bothers me is how an energy will change, right? So we'll be having a good old time in our safe space, having the conversations that we have, and when they come in, the entire energy, everything shifts, and that's problematic. And I know Courtney said something in the previous show. I remember her saying that. She said they don't want us to have safe spaces because when we talk, we start to think and we start to strategize, and that's not what happens. They don't want that to happen. So, but we are entitled to have our safe spaces. We have to be intentional about building them. We have to want them, but we also have to realize why we need them, which is why this conversation is important to have. Because it's one thing just to say, hey, we should have safe spaces, but we need to like really take action and build these safe spaces and protect these safe spaces.
Facts. Corey, what you got on this?
You know, I feel like every black space should be a black safe space, and then anybody that's making it unsafe should have to get the hell out of there. So if enough of us is gathered around, and you know, whatever space that we in should be safe for everybody there. You know, so the I don't know what to call it, but like I don't change my energy for nobody, but especially not for them. Like my energy actually turns up. My energy does change. It turns up because I want to make them as uncomfortable as I can possibly make them, in especially black spaces, so they can get the hell out. Because I really want us to be able to talk and not have to deal with, you know, because some people are afraid to offend, and I'm not. You know, I ask the tough questions. You know, I'm kind of like a journalist when it comes to that though. Like, you know, why are you here? The very first question I'm asked is why are you here? And then if the answer is not to give us money and get the hell out the way, then why? Then the second question is why are you here? So I don't know, man. Like I just feel like a black safe space should always have you know, it should be safe for everybody and all kinds of black people. You know what I mean? And so we talking about safe black spaces. I ain't talking about safe mixed spaces. I ain't talking about no no intersectional spaces where we talking about, you know, people of color spaces and you start to add these Asian people in and all this other stuff. I'm talking about safe black spaces. I don't really care about the other people and all this other stuff. I care about black people and the outcomes for black people. And then I care about the rest of humanity. And so a lot of people don't like when I say that, but I don't care about those people because if those people don't like that, then they not about black people first because that's how every other race, every other creed treats their people. They care about themselves first, and then they, you know, they worry about what other people are doing. And so if we're not doing that, then you know what we talking about.
Got you. All right. So David Ruffin is in the building. Mr. Malik Carter, Coach Carter, real estate coach Carter. How you doing, Malik? All right. So,
the professional gem dropper. I saw you over there on Chatty, man.
Gem dropper extraordinaire.
Yo, for y'all not listening, man, we got a joke with Malik that started yesterday. And first of all, I mean to bombard your time, Malik, but shout out to everybody who's here now that was on our webinar. We had a special webinar yesterday. Malik, myself, Corey, as well as Camille. But there's a joke that happened. If you look at Malik's bio, Malik literally tells you in his bio that he is a gem dropper. Imagine calling yourself a gem dropper. You know how David Ruffin, you know how David Ruffin like you got to be to call yourself a gem dropper.
You got it.
It is own bio, bro. He's fine.
But the floor is yours. The floor is yours. Drop these gems, man. We waiting to pick these gems up.
We can't.
Yo, man, your microphone ain't working, man.
Your microphone's not working
right now.
Ain't nothing you say, man. We missing these gems, man.
We can't hear you, man. So Courtney,
yes.
Courtney,
you might have to go out and come back in, brother.
Yeah, while Malik's getting it together, you go ahead and you share your comments with us, Courtney.
Oh boy. So I think the first thing that I want to talk about is safe spaces. You know, safe spaces are places that we can talk amongst ourselves and be free to share our thoughts that we wouldn't be able to do so in mixed company. I think we talked about this earlier in our conversation on Clubhouse about how it's important to remove people, Black people, that, violate those safe spaces. There's a lot of people who spend our currency in our conversations in our safe spaces, and they spend it outside of the space because they're chasing clout. And I've seen it entirely too many times, and I'm really tired of it. But one of the things about safe spaces is that they need to exist. We're certainly entitled to them. And I think the bigger part about it is when we get together in these safe spaces and we do talk and we do collaborate, we come up with some amazing things, and we have the ability to change the trajectory of our community. And when we change the trajectory of our community, we change the world. So I think those are the big things that I want us to talk about. And also just general conversations is that I don't have to define every single term I use when I'm in a safe space, when I'm among people who look like me, who think like me. I'm tired of just every time I turn around, I'm like, oh no, I meant this or I meant that. And it's like, no, when you're having a conversation culturally, it's under certain things are understood. And that's not everything, but I'm tired of defining every single term that I use that's not directly in somebody's Merriam-Webster dictionary. I'm just tired of it.
Amen. You see how when I just said 8701, you already knew what it was? I didn't have to say, well, what is it? You know what I mean? That's what we talking about.
Exactly.
USDA, man.
Go ahead, brother, man. Drop these gems, man.
Nah, so listen, I will say this, man. As far as just to go on a safe space before I forget, man, is it's hard to have a safe space, man, when you got Terry Crews out here. You never know. Who listening? When Kyrie Irving was talking about, breaking off from the NBA doing an all-black league, they reported him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So you don't even know every time when you're thinking a safe space, you really don't know. Like real talk, who would even mention that Kyrie Irving is talking to the other NBA players about starting their own league? It had to be another top player to do it. You're already getting millions of dollars in endorsements. What's the benefit of you except to satisfy master that you will report that? What does Terry Crews get out of chastising Black people every chance he get? When the guy grabbed his dick, it took him 3 years to say something, right?
Yeah.
But then the first time Gabrielle Union says, "Oh, I didn't experience racism when I was over there. I didn't experience those things in the canon." As soon as they say something, but it took him 3 years to grab his dick to say something. Come on, man, Terry Crews. But anyway, it's enough Terry Crews. But the point is, it's hard to have a safe space.
No,
that's an excellent point.
And you know what's funny about that? I'm glad you brought up Terry Crews, right? Then he has the nerve to complain about the backlash he gets when he puts his comments out for the public to see. And he thinks that they're okay. No, they're not. And, people will say what they want to say, right? When you got 1 million people telling you that something's wrong. But 9 times out of 10, something really is wrong. But I do feel that sometimes Black folks get chastised for, I guess, a wrong word or a misunderstanding as well. But Terry Crews is a habitual line stepper. So, he gets whatever he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, so I did a little video this summer when I was doing my backyard A-shirt videos. And what I said in that video is I was talking about myself. And I like to reflect on myself a lot because there are people that can relate. And if you point the finger, they won't get it. And what I said is, in the real estate world, there was a lot of things that I held my tongue on because I was chasing that dollar. And whether I'm at a job or trying to work with white clients or work within a white space, there were things that I would sugarcoat. I will always say what I wanted to say, but it was very
PC,
very, very, white gloves, softish, right? And I didn't really, even though I had freedom as being me, I didn't feel that way, and I felt like it was going to affect me financially if I'm going to say out and say the things that I really felt. And it wasn't until I didn't really care about what anybody else said, and I didn't fear losing clients that you got the Malik on internet that you see today, and this is still a watered down version of myself. So imagine if I gave you everything, it'd be a whole different world out here, and this is still definitely a watered down version of me, man. But still, it's not watered down as much. You get like the Kool-Aid. There's still some sugar in that thing, man. So it's me out here.
All right, so let's check in with the folks real quick. Dwight says, "What's up?" Everybody say hello to Dwight.
Yo.
Dwight, what's good?
Toya, great topic, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us, Marvin. What's up, Marvin? Hey, Marvin, I saw that you were right, Marvin. The other day to call me out. I got you coming. Monica, hey, Monica. Oh, look at that picture with Jimmy.
Come on, man. Here you go.
All right, so Latoya says, short answer, yes. So we are entitled to those spaces. Got you. All right, Adrian says, hey, y'all. All I had to say is, hell yeah, we need our own spaces. I just had this discussion with a friend, and I don't really cuss, but I guess you can't fuck that shit. We need your spaces. Can be, how are you? Welcome. Elizabeth, hey, Elizabeth, how you doing?
Hey, Elizabeth.
What's up, Don? How are you?
Uh-huh.
All right, so Adrian says, oh, look at those red velvet cakes. Oh, she's talking about Dave Sims. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Katisa, how you doing? Happy Sunday.
What's going on?
Hey, Don, I like that book cover. Like and share.
Sir.
Yes. Oh, by the way, so yes, David Sims or Eatable Delights has he has a page on Instagram and on Facebook. You can definitely like and share that also, folks.
I think I might order his ribs next week, man.
His ribs.
Y'all keep talking about these ribs, dog.
The ribs are fire. Get the beef ribs.
The beef ribs, right.
Not the short beef ribs. Get the regular beef ribs.
Not the short, but okay, the regular ribs. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
You can't order them joints till Friday.
What's that?
The week is not allowed to order them Friday.
I said
You get into the week.
next weekend.
Oh, that's right.
I said next weekend.
Vegan to the weekend, man.
They get to the weekend. That's right.
He's not allowed to order those until Friday.
All right. Canby's reporting in from Carolina Kitchen, DC, and Maryland.
Mhm.
All right. Milk and Honey, DC, and
I've
Maryland.
definitely gone there. I really enjoyed their food.
Oh, you talking about businesses? You know what? I'm sorry, Canby. All right. So Carolina Kitchen is a business in DC and Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Milk and Honey is a business in DC and Maryland.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been there.
Southern Elegance Candle. I never heard of them before. Okay.
Me either.
Listen, do me a favor, y'all. If y'all are in our group, please jump in our group, the Blackwell Project group. Go in there. Somebody start a post and throw these in there. All right. Furrow cheesecake. Okay. That's
Never
good.
heard
Is that,
that one.
where is that at?
That was out of DC because
Yeah.
it was a group of, I think it was two women that started it. They were on furlough from,
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. All right. Monica says one of my favorite BOBs is Charles Creations homemade bath product bottles. Okay. Shop Charles Creations. Okay. MVS Beauty Supply. Listen, y'all, there's really, I've been looking at the space, right? There is really no need for us to go outside of our community. There are so many things from dish detergent to laundry detergent to light bulbs. I see we got black people producing light bulbs to apparel to sneaker wear. I mean, we got it all, not to mention all our professionals, our lawyers like Courtney, our insurance people, our accountants. I mean, there's not a whole lot we need to go outside our community for. We really got to start scrutinizing our dollars and making sure we're using our dollars to the best of our ability.
Well,
Obviously.
I am looking for a black-owned mortgage company. I know plenty of black lenders. I would like to. I don't know any personally black-owned mortgage
I
company.
thought your man was a mortgage company.
Matt,
Yeah.
no. He runs a branch, but doesn't own the company.
Okay. Well, listen, the way we get to the companies, we support these people that run the branches, though, too. All right. So here we go. Let's go. Sharita says confessions.
That's 3 confessions right there.
Elizabeth says confessions. By the way, the question was Jimmy's bringing his marital problems into our
It
broadcast.
wasn't a problem. It was a conversation we had. Malik, you missed it.
Well, no. You said y'all had an argument, not a conversation.
It wasn't an argument. It wasn't an argument, but we was like, we was debating because Malik, the debate was this. My wife tried to tell me that 8701 is better than confessions, and I told her she was bugging. So I said, I'm gonna ask everybody on the show.
And what's she saying? Did she give you her blessings?
No, she just laughed because she really believes 87. Listen, I will say this though. Usher's 3-run album, My Way, 8701, and Confessions,
Yeah.
Only Mike can mess with that 3-run album, dog. Like those 3 back to back to back.
I was just talking about My Way. I was getting it.
A quick sidebar. Has anybody ever heard the Confessions Chopped and Screwed?
Yes, I actually have.
Oh man, you got it?
No, I don't have it. I have heard it though. It's on YouTube, I believe.
Yeah. No.
Yo, that 3-run album, dog. We gotta give Usher his flowers. See, this is what I talk about safe spaces, right? We can have these conversations without having to explain everything we're saying.
Yep.
So there's a whole article about this. Everybody knows it's been a long-going debate. Everybody's been debating this. So here's just an article from The Vibe who kind of breaks it down. And I think a lot of people will get some interest out of this. But let's continue on and let's say what's up to our folks.
Yes, sir.
All right. So
8701, I thought you were talking about 8732. That's why I said USDA. That's the Young Jeezy. USDA.
No, that's Jeezy. I caught that. You know what I mean?
All right.
So Adrian says, I don't know anything about either one, but I'll slide with Monica. All right. That's that black sister power right there.
I love
I ain't mad at that. We ain't
All
mad
right.
at
It
that.
says, late for brunch, CHU owned.
Yep.
Is that Central High School alumni owned?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Premier Screen Printing. CHS. By the way, Keith Leapart has he's Central alum.
Yes, he is. He's 252, I believe. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead though.
I can't think of his company off the top of my head. Anybody know?
He got a couple of them. You talking about the printing one or like because he has a couple different.
So Waffle is one. If everybody's seen that, Waffle.
What is that, Mark? Waffle.
Waffle. That's Keith's in there.
I never heard of him before.
I'll come back to it by the end of the show.
Yeah, he got multiple businesses. But yeah, shout out to Keith.
Okay, so can be a Reveal experience in Florence, Missouri. Okay.
Hold up, Ken got all that. She knows all of them. She's in Georgia, Missouri. Shout out to you, Ken. Ken got all the hookups, yo.
North Carolina.
Ziggy and Tootie Cakes. All right. Always trying to dominate a room. That's the most working part.
Yes.
She's talking about those 6F.
6F.
Yes, I got it. I learned something today. 6F.
I
Everybody takes 6F in the comments, y'all.
Me and Corey could write a whole book of the nicknames we use when we having these conversations.
I couldn't even say some of them nicknames.
Yeah, we gonna leave them alone though. We're not even gonna get there, but I'm just saying, like that's a nice one right there. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about that though? Because I was actually in a group the other day where they were saying that they were getting flagged for putting black in their title or black in their description on Facebook.
I saw on YouTube also, right?
Yeah, on YouTube also, and so I think that just.
Tell them what happened to me.
Well, I don't know if I told y'all this, but so we had our webinar this weekend called the Black Assets webinar, and it's about the black asset classes we thought that our folks should be focused on moving into 2021. So it was two things. That was one, and two. Shout out to Styles P, who saw what me and Corey was doing and did an amazing drop for us. But our coupon code was Black Wealth. So Facebook and Instagram, which is Facebook, they told us we couldn't run ads on the Styles drop or our webinar because it had the term black assets and not just assets, and our discount code was Black Wealth. Mm-hmm. So I believe what you're saying about being flagged for that.
Wow, that's really disappointing, but it's expected. Listen, that's the other important reason why we need our own spaces. Now, as we go through the comments, I do want to kind of share this though. I do struggle with the term and title, right? I do believe whatever we get, we got to be able to pay for, or we got to be able to take over so we can dominate. Mm-hmm. And so I understand in this context how we're using the term entitled, but I do feel a lot of times we feel that we're entitled to everything. No, we got to be able to muster up the strength and the money to take what we need and buy what we need as well.
So go ahead.
Go ahead.
So I was the person that started the conversation. I said, like, are we entitled to black spaces? And I was looking at and the reason why I even thought about it as the threshold question is because a lot of people don't feel that we are entitled to our own spaces, us and others, And I think we have our issue of people like Terry Crews. I think Malik, that was a great analogy, kind of people that we've seen in these spaces. And then we also,
Jim Drop.
The gym dropper. And then you also have those who are not Black coming into our spaces and telling us how they want us to run them, or how they feel that we should frame our conversation and our arguments and our ask. And that's why I'm just saying I want to have that conversation and say, I want to make it very clear we are completely entitled to our own spaces. Everybody else has them, but for some reason or another, we can't have them, or people feel that our spaces are less important for us to be able to speak freely. Now, I believe that's a direct descendant or a direct link to slavery, because we were never able to have those spaces. And the only place we were able to have those spaces was in church. And even when we had those spaces in, quote, church, they started finding out that y'all doing more than just reading the Bible about submission. So now we have a problem. And so I feel that is kind of what that string and that link comes from slavery. But I think a lot of the things that go on vis-a-vis the Black community in America, and actually any area that's been colonized, is actually a direct function of slavery. I mean, even the fact that we over-sexualize Black women, that came from slavery, because that was justification for women to be raped. And the same thing about how we look at Black men as scary and over, and big and burly and all these other things. That was justification for them to be beat. Oh, they're scary, so we must beat them. We have to beat them in submission so they don't beat us. And that's all of that comes from slavery. And I just really wish that we had the ability to have those conversations to kind of really identify the problems, the root cause, and then deal with it, from all the way pulling it through. Because honestly, we're dealing with symptoms. Anything else? We're dealing with the symptoms.
Right. Now y'all shush, because Mr. Charlie coming. So, all right. Now it says we are absolutely entitled to our own spaces. Absolutely. All right. So, Monica got fired. So the title of 8701 is Fire in and of itself, the album release date, and also the span of Usher's career at this time. I'm going to let y'all be wrong out here. I mean, you going to have some problems tonight, brother. I don't want no part to that. All right. So Elizabeth says 8701 started it. However, Confession solidified the man's adulthood. He went from old teenager to straight grown man. Oh man, y'all got some strong.
No, that's true though. That is actually true, and I do believe that we have to respect the trilogy. But Confessions was the pinnacle.
It's the magnum opus.
All right. So Latoya says, I side eye those who are always pushing for our safe spaces to be integrated. Yeah,
Woo!
it's a real thing. Now hold on, y'all. This is a long one. Thanks for this, Marvin. I want to hear more on this discussion. What are we considering as safe spaces? As we all know, skin folks ain't always kin folks, so I need more context on the topic. In general, if we are speaking of similar spaces like the Blackwell Project space, definitely. Far too long, we have robbed and cheated out of what is ours, rightfully so. History shows that it's time again. So, I mean, I'll take this a little bit. Courtney kind of touched on it a little bit, but I want to be clear, y'all. We are not broadcasting on Black safe spaces.
No.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube will take us down in a heartbeat and will not give us any justification. It's happened 1,000,001 times. That's why we have to start building our own spaces. That's why, me and Jimmy were talking about it primarily. We were talking about Clubhouse. We got all these Black folks on Clubhouse, and we know we create the cool. We create the narrative in terms of cool, and we create the culture. However, we never really get to see the dividends and equity of culture that we've created. And so Clubhouse is going to blow up. And listen, I appreciate it for what it is, right? But let's not forget what it is. It's not ours. It's leased. It's borrowed, right? We have to remember that. Hopefully, some other people will come out with their own spaces. But for right now, we'll leverage it for what it is. But let's be clear. If Mr. Charlie come in the room, a lot of people are not going to. No, I'm serious. Like,
no, I know.
A lot of us are not going to keep that same pressure and fire and really be honest, right? So I'll say this. I'm gonna pick on Corey just for a little bit. Corey will always check me. Matter of fact, everybody on this panel. The only person that's really nice to me, y'all, is Tracy, and she ain't here tonight. But Corey corrected me. Corey corrected me in the middle of something, and he was right. He was right. Oftentimes, though, we may not do that when we have interlopers or spies amongst us. And I get it, but we need to be able to be us freely and clearly. Now, I know Corey didn't mean nothing about it personally. He was saying tighten up and get it together. And we got to be able to accept that and move forward with it as well. So anybody else have anything on what Marvin said?
No, and what I wanted to say about that is that because I know that you normally on your game and you tight, I was able to say that and you knew exactly what I meant. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was coming at you and it's like, they always jacking it up. Like, Kamari, you were F up. No, I was, you know exactly what I was coming from and knew where I was coming. So because we have that cultural connection,
Right.
and we're able to, you know what I mean? And we're able to talk on a certain level, then, you know, when it's time, like, y'all come at my neck all the time and I'm good with it. And
That's
because
that.
I know where it's coming from.
But
That
now that's
cultural
my point.
connection.
That's my point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that cultural connection.
Exactly.
Like, for instance, when I brought this topic to you guys a couple days ago, it was because I was in Chatty House spending way too much time. As a matter of fact, I looked at my iPhone. I think I lost a whole day this week to Chatty House. I had like 24 hours of usage. Like, anyway, that's either here nor there. But I was in a room and there was a bunch of folks in there. We were having a conversation about financial literacy in the Black community, right? And it's all kinds of folks in there. Like a lot of your favorite people from you know, I'll say the online space. We're all in there just having a conversation. All Black folks. White dude comes in there and he start telling us what we need to be doing. And I'm sitting there like, and you know, but people would start to check him and, you know, got him out of there. But the fact is, he had the audacity and he was trying to frame it. Listen, you know, I can never have your experience, but here's what I will say. And he was so culturally clueless. And I gave you an example of one of the things I'm talking about, like the year savings, not exactly what he said, but how he said it, as if it's just like something that we all can do. See, the problem is you guys want to invest, but you don't have a year's savings. I'm like, dude, the people that we talking to or talking about, like, you can't come to them with that. But if you had an idea culturally of some of the things we go through, some of the fights that we're in, like we talked about earlier, how we're fighting on so many fronts, you can't even approach it that way. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can't even, and that's problem with a lot of our, you know, not trying to throw, you know, rocks at ourselves, but some of our professionals who lose touch with our culture and start to look down on our own folks. That's one of the problems that we have to fix with each other, right? So this problem is not just about the 6Fs, but it's also about us and how we see each other.
Gotcha. All right. So Latoya says, thank you guys for that webinar. So dope for you to share your time on that Saturday.
Yeah, I'm glad you
came. Appreciate you.
So Cammy says we also have to protect our safe spaces. Exactly. Some of us do the most to be overly inclusive to people who do not have our best interests at heart. I agree. The webinar definitely was dope.
What's up now?
Adrian says a lot of non-Black people push back on Black-only pages, citing that it's racist to exclude people. They are either trying to flip the entire racist thing, or because we've been so welcoming to everyone to our detriment, they feel entitled. I think a great case for that, and Adrian, I think you'll be able to appreciate this, was Maggie Anderson's Our Black Year experiment, when she was attempting to buy all Black for a year, or did buy all Black for a year. And she got labeled on mass media as a racist. And I think that's like the craziest thing ever. Can
I say something about that real fast, Kamari?
Yeah.
In the year, no, I just want to make no. Listen, I want to say this right. In the year of our Lord 2019, me and Corey turned down so many bags, right, from organizations of folks that don't look like us. Like, they were literally offering us money to come and like run our program, and we literally turned down the money. And we told them it's not what we do is not for you, and they were so offended by that. And we had one gentleman actually say, like, you know, you're a racist, like, you can't do that, like. And he had the nerve to ask me. He says, "What's one thing that's built for whites only? How can you build something for Black folks only? What's one thing that's built for whites only?"
Oh, that was easy.
That was my response. I said, "America," and that ended the conversation. He didn't have, like, it was just over. But that's kind of like you know, the issue with it is because they think that it's something wrong with us wanting to have our space. So to Adrian's point, though, that's an amazing point, Adrian. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
Got you. I lost place a little bit. Here we go. Nope, got that one. Great webinar. All right, the White says great discussion. We shouldn't have to code switch. And yes, I agree.
Not at all.
You know, Lena Waithe is the creator of The Chi, and she was talking about Queen and Slim. If anybody's seen that movie, I know some people don't like it. I actually loved it. It was a great love story. But she said she talks to the executives of those movie studios just like she tells everybody else. She said they're going to get this slang. And years ago, I might have had a problem with that. Today, I don't. I really don't. She said they're going to get this slang because when we hold ourselves back to kind of show them up, to kind of give them light, we're actually reducing our light. We're dimming our light. And I think we should just be who we are every day. Now, I know some people can't do that because they got to go and work for certain people and do certain things. But I think it's something we need to be thinking about more. Do we really need to code switch? You know, do we really need to change our vernacular when Mr. Charlie comes in the room?
Oh man.
So, can I comment on that? I think
Absolutely.
no, I don't. And I think here's the thing that I've always noticed in the legal space is that when you are working with somebody, I shouldn't say defendant, I should say, defendant, coming into a legal space, and defendant is civil and criminal, just so people are clear. When I'm having conversations, when I speak to them in my brief writing style, I'll leave it that way. I don't get anywhere. But if I speak to them in vernacular, we can have a conversation and they understand what the next steps are, and it's very, very clear. And I think, again, is that it's important that we speak to each other in ways that we can understand. And I also feel that there are certain things in our quote vernacular that there's not a substitute for. So I don't know if you've ever noticed other cultures. Every so often, I lived in the Philippines for about a month in 2009. And although Filipinos do speak English, every so often they would drop into Tagalog. And the reason why they did so is because there wasn't an English equivalent for what they were saying. But the same thing in Latin. There's a lot of different Latin terms. I took Latin in college. There's a lot of different Latin terms that does not have an exact English equivalent. And there's a lot of things in our vernacular that does not have an exact translation that has the same meaning. And I think if once we respect our language as it is, I think we get a lot further amongst each other. Because again, I don't want to put on airs. I don't want to have a conversation in brief writing style as a regular course. I want to be free. I want to use my F-bombs. As you guys know, I use them outside of, this conversation. I wanted to listen, I'm kind of like Malik was just saying this. He's like, you only get half of me, or you don't get me at like 190 proof. You just don't. You're not going to get that in public. But I mean, you're not going to get all of me. But I say that to say, when we're able to connect with each other in language, because language is one of the biggest connectors. And as long as we respect that of each other, I think we get a lot further along. And honest to goodness, when we were learning English here, they just made us figure it out. Same thing with them. Y'all figure it out. You'll figure it out what we're talking about.
Right. So look, let me put this out. There's a team of white women in Philadelphia, and their team name is the Philly Homegirls. Can you imagine how that would go over? It was a team of black women with that same name.
Yep.
How would they get any? They're one of the biggest teams in the city, and they get crazy business. But if it was a black woman and the Philly Homegirls, they would get nothing.
What kind of business is it, Malik?
Real estate sales.
The realtors, yeah.
Oh, the realtors. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, the Philly Homegirls is a bunch of white women.
They put up numbers too. He's right.
Numbers. They put up numbers. Listen, and even the word John is in every marketing campaign. But you say join the boardroom, you look crazy.
Yeah,
What drives me crazy now though is that everybody, like you said, everybody's saying John, and they're not really saying it with the proper context.
Yeah. I don't even know how to use it, and so I feel like a sucker trying to use my own language sometimes. Because when I see other people use it, I'm like, man, I can't even say that word no more. After I hear certain people say a certain word, I'm like, I'm never saying that again.
Right.
And that's because
they still all that stuff. Listen, man, they're gonna have Scoofies. They're gonna have Scoofies for sale by next week. Watch.
They're gonna leave my ad alone. It's that fire.
But Corey, that's such a great. I love that point. That is such a good point.
Once they touch it, I don't even want to touch it. Me and Jim always had this conversation, and then we start trading J bars because we music heads, and
yeah, that's cool. I was the first one with it.
Original Jig is the future flow digital.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah, see, that's the culture.
So when they can have it. Once I done took it and ran with it and did what I want with it, you can have it. And that because I know I'm creative enough that if I talk to another black person and I use a adjective, another word that's similar to that word, they know exactly what I'm going to mean, and then we don't even got to use that word.
Hashtag context.
I will say this.
Like we can just say that word to bed for black.
If I'm in the courtroom, right, and my attorney is arguing, and my attorney say, "Your Honor, they drawn." He fired. He can't say that shit.
But it depends. Wait. Time out.
No, it definitely depends. Is he good at what he
because
does?
if you have a jury and he says, Your Honor, and you have a black jury and he says he's drawing, your jury's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. You're not guilty from the rip. If I'm on that jury, you're not guilty.
Yeah.
Hold up. That's an excellent point, Courtney. I got. Go ahead, Courtney. You gotta finish. But you just brought up something I want to really talk about. But go ahead, Courtney. Go ahead, finish.
No, that's it. I mean, that's really it. It depends on who your audience is, and part of being an attorney and being in the courtroom is it's salesmanship to a certain extent. It's salesmanship. So I'm looking at a jury of my peers, and let's say they're my peers. That's important. Time out also before we even get into that. This is why it's super important for people to go to jury duty.
That was my point. That's where I was going.
I know it is so not fun. I know it is the most boring thing, and I had to sit through it. And I was supposed to be on a homicide trial or whatever it was, and the guy decided to take a plea. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. But here's the thing, we look at the criminal justice system and say, yo, that's not fair. But at the end of the day, the major crimes have a jury. And so it's a jury of your peers. And it should look like you as, a defendant that should look like it should look like them, and I think one of the biggest problems, and I think Trayvon Martin's case is probably one of the best, is that there were not enough women of color on that jury. And I should say black women of color, because here's the thing, you had white women on that jury that believed that Trayvon was a threat as a young black man in a neighborhood with some Skittles and a hoodie, believed he was a threat. So they justified George Zimmerman's actions because they had an inherent understanding and belief that he was a threat in his current state.
All right.
Can I get in real quick, Corey?
Hold on, Jim. One of the reasons why we having problems in 2020 is because George Zimmerman is still alive. All right, Jim, go ahead.
All right, my bad. Yeah, so Courtney,
Wait. We can't go over that. Corey, please say that again. Please.
One of the problems that we're having in 2020 is because George Zimmerman is still alive.
I ain't mad at that.
I know what you're saying. And,
Yeah,
and I think the people know what you're saying too. But Courtney, that's an excellent point, because that's where I was going when you brought up jury, right? So I've served on a jury before, and you talk about culture and just not understanding certain things. When I served on a jury, it was a brother who was on trial. Who would have thunk? But the crazy part is when we're in the jury room deliberating, some of the things that were said. Talk about culturally clueless, like just some of the language that he used, and as they're reading this off on court, they think he means one thing, but I'm like, that's not what that means. Certain neighborhoods they said he was in where he did this there, but then he did this over there. That's not near each other. Like they were so clueless as to the actual story. And I literally, and I'm the only black guy on this jury, by the way. And I had a white woman in the jury said, look, let's just vote guilty. Let's just get out of here. And I'm like, ho. What are you talking about? She said, well, first off, if you didn't commit a crime, you wouldn't be locked up. That was her. Listen, that's her exact thought. And that right there struck me. And I'm like, whoa, that let me know the importance of us being in these spaces too, because I'm like, I'm trying to explain to them what certain words mean, where certain neighborhoods are, where certain blocks are, and how the crime he's being accused of is really impossible. And if it were like, and the funny thing is, he knew that if it wasn't for me, he would have been like, because I actually got the whole thing. I shouldn't be saying all that, but what I'm saying is, if it wasn't for me being there, that brother would have been in a lot of trouble. And, he recognized that at the end of the trial. But the point is, we do need to actually be in those spaces as well, because a lot of times it's ignorance. They just didn't even understand the language that was being said. And that comment about like, yo, if you're not guilty, you wouldn't have been locked up in the first. That was a real comment. And that one comment showed me that like we got to take jury duty way more serious than we do.
I mean, you could see that evidence in the Central Park Five. I mean, that got a lot of precedent, and those brothers went to jail for a long time for no reason at all, even because their parents didn't understand truly how the legal system operates.
So I want to bring this up because I think this is something that speaking of cultural competency. So the Miranda warning, so Miranda versus the United States, I think it was a 1974 case. It basically gives you your rights. So the rights are, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to speak to an attorney and to have an attorney present during any questioning. That's Miranda. Here's the thing. So if you ask for an attorney, they have to give you one. However, someone who was picked up for a crime. I don't remember what they're called. A suspect. Yes, a suspect. See, I told you I do civil, but a suspect was detained, and he said, "Yo, I want to speak to my lawyer, dog." Now, you and I know that he says he wants to speak to his attorney, right?
Yeah.
And that's when questioning should stop. But the court said, no, saying that I want to speak to my lawyer, dog, isn't an actual ask for an attorney. Huh? Like, so they basically said that.
What he wanted his lawyer's pet?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, like, what did he want his lawyer's pet?
I said they made it sound like he was asking for his lawyer's pet. Like, what does that mean? Like, come on, man.
It was like, huh? Like, how did we get here? And I don't remember what their justification was in the case, but I was like, he asked for his attorney. It doesn't matter, like, comma, whatever. It was like he asked for his attorney, but they were like, that's not an unequivocal ask. And I was like, no, you're being culturally insensitive and culturally incompetent. Like, and the thing is that happens too many times, and again, to your point about not understanding the criminal justice system, when parents allow their children to be questioned without them in the room, oh, absolutely not. I will tear this place down. But again, you have to understand the rules. And again, we don't have enough places, circling back to Black spaces, we don't have enough spaces for us to clearly understand the rules of the world in which we operate, that we could be free to have that discourse and that conversation and that questioning to actually get a full understanding. And that's how we get messed up in the game. And I actually have another word for that, but I'm not going to say it here because, I like to drop my F-bombs. Right. But that's how we get messed up in the game.
All right, let's get through some more of these comments, y'all. Hold on. Terry Crews gets access to and closer proximity to whiteness. Yeah, but Terry Crews can go play in traffic.
Rush hour traffic.
Facts. Latoya Marie says we deserve Black spaces so that we are safe to be our authentic selves. That's how we honor the ancestors. Facts. I agree with that. Great bar. Elizabeth says any industry that is white dominated will always restrict our expression. It's annoying, but also sadly because we have figured out how to have completely safe Black professional spaces because we are so indoctrinated. But I don't think we've ever really had truly safe Black professional spaces, though.
She said, she meant, I think she meant we haven't completely, we don't have it.
Okay, my apologies. All right, Jose Sanchez says our own skin folk are oftentimes afraid to be pro-Black because it will offend their allegiance with their white peers. Facts. Great bar. What's up, Willard? Terry Crews and Kyrie Irving analogies by Malik. Jim drops for sure. Call him the Infinity Stone Master. Listen, we don't need you egging Jimmy Ruffin or David Ruffin on anymore. But that was good. All right, so Furlough's at the National Harbor, in DC or Oxon Hill. All right, Adrian says we need to stop building wealth for everyone else. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. But that starts with us buying from us first.
Yeah.
Demetrius Shambly says Ujamaa lighting light bulbs. Okay, I don't think I know.
Real quick,
I know there's a light bulb company. I know We Buy Black highlights them often, but I'm not. Is that their name? Demetrius, go ahead, Jimmy. What you got?
I just want to give Demetrius a shout out. He's a brother in Connecticut, a good brother, by the way, and he's doing a lot of amazing work where he has the BOBs. He goes to BOBs and raises money for them by having folks come together. And Kamar, you're very familiar with this. Cash mob. Yeah, he's doing cash mobs in Connecticut at a Black-owned business, and so he's doing a lot of good work. Just want to give him a shout out.
Yeah. Keep up the good work. We need that. Oh, he said the Key Bookstore, my man.
Nice.
All right. As for Black-owned mortgage companies, there are Black-owned mortgage divisions that Black-owned banks and their own Black-owned mortgage companies. Again, resources. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't. There's a Black-owned bank in Chicago and I think in Mississippi. I'll have to look it up, but I know they do mortgages. They do my buddy Donnie's mortgage out there. He raves about them. Good point, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
We definitely link.
Tubob. Yeah, that's one word. That's one word. Tubob.
Oh, for the 6 Fs.
Yeah. Tubob.
Gotcha. All right. It is a thing you can't advertise around around black anything, and it's a headache. They will limit your ability to grow as a business if you are black owned and black focused. Yeah, but that's when we as a community got to step in and say, no, we're going to right the wrong. We're going to right the shit. They, us, we are them, and we're going to rock with them. But I get your point, Elizabeth, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm just adding my own sauce on it. Were you about to say something, Courtney?
No.
Okay. Jose Sanchez says it's because they are fearful of what may come out of separation, safe spaces that are exclusively black. They believe that we do to them what we've done to us. Yeah, I think
I get what he's saying. That's why they don't want us to have it, because it's literally their guilt.
Yeah. Black owned cologne world of Chris Collins. Oh, okay. Black owned cologne world of Chris Collins. Are they all black fragrances and perfumes and colognes, or is it just it's a brother selling them? Demetrius, let me know. That's dope either way though. All right, Style by Young in Philly. Malik mentioned him on IG in connection with the brother and got a suit.
Yeah, listen, dude, he is sharp, dude. I like, bro.
Who is that? Style by Young?
It's Style by Young. That's his brand name. Style by Young. He's a stylist. He has socks. He's that Style by Young.
Gotcha. Okay, that's dope.
He's a stylist, but he's fly.
Got you. Listen, everybody, we do this every week, y'all. This is the Black Wealth Project, 7 p.m. every week, 7 p.m.-ish every week we come here. This is our safe space for the moment, right? As long as we can hold on to it till we get something that's actually our own. But do us a favor. Share this out. We're fighting the algorithms, right? We're fighting the man. Share this out. The links help us fight the algorithms. The comments help us fight the algorithms. The shares help us fight the algorithms. And by the way, the most important thing in the algorithm fight is watch time. So the more you watch these shows, the more we get displayed on to other folks who could benefit from them. So
and know that because it's the Black Wealth Project, we can't really advertise.
We can't
pretty much. Yo, Kamar, you missed some comments on there. I'm actually shocked because a couple of them are giving you props, but that's how I know you missed them. Because
really, really.
I'm just saying.
Right. Y'all see this abuse, right?
I'm just saying. There's some good stuff out there. I want to comment on some of that, but I want you to show it first. So if you go back to where Demetrius talked about black-owned cologne world of Chris Collins, there's a couple comments after that.
Yeah, it jumped on me. This thing be crazy. Sometimes.
Yeah. So right after that, there you go.
All right. So with all that said, black folk in IT, no one can create your own space. There are a couple of black-owned IT professional group though.
But you can be seen on the screen, mama.
All right, Courtney's got beef.
Yeah.
Maybe are the black companies being funded?
What do you mean?
By white dollar.
Founders being funded,
or is it being funded by white dollar with a black face?
I mean, like Clubhouse got. I'm sure they got funded, like to build.
Yeah, but Clubhouse is owned by white folks, though. I mean, that's not a secret.
I mean, right now, I know they changed it, but even their app logo is a black dude.
Is it?
Right? Yes, I peeped that.
You peeped that? Yeah.
I'm going ahead and look at it.
All right, so Prayed and Hustle. Side note, I had to say this guy.
I didn't peep that.
Talking with this microphone, his voice is so raspy and so soothing. Thank you. I guess
when I didn't see that on the screen, I was like, he must have missed that one.
Yeah.
All right, so Latoya says 2020 is the year of big audacity. So sick of being Angela Davis in every encounter with white people. That's why we need our own spaces. We are entitled to just be. Facts.
Ooh,
all right. Marvin says you got a point here, Kamari. Social media mediums aren't necessarily safe spaces. No, they're not. I mean, yeah, I can go off on a whole other tangent and rant dialogue about that. So we need to create our own for us to truly be that. Until then, we need ways to beat the algorithms. I'm gonna just say that.
And share us.
Yes, I'm gonna just say this real quick though. Again, we still have to be very, very conscious about what we say on these spaces, whether it's being presented by a black person or being presented by a white person. I'm seeing a lot of, I'm not gonna say no names, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying somebody's got court problems because of something they said out their mouth in a public session. It's always fair game. So just remember that, y'all. The white says, Kamari got everybody ready to read F Mr. Charlie. Yo, shirt.
F Mr. Charlie.
It's a shirt.
Yeah, shirt alert.
It's a shirt. All right. Monica says we need safe spaces because we are in integrated spaces. Facts. We have to worry about representing all black people. I agree.
Can we talk about that? I mean,
man.
I think here's the thing, and it happens to me more often than I would like.
A lot.
Is that they're like, you're not like the other ones.
Oh Lord.
What does that mean? And I really like having that. So what does that mean? No, I don't. Well, what do you mean? Well, you're silence.
Exactly.
No, I'm what?
You speak so well.
Oh, I've gotten that. Oh, you went to private school, so that's why you speak so well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a problem. I had a Jewish brother tell me that I was a credit to my race, and he didn't understand. He didn't understand why what he said was problematic. He thought he was giving me a compliment.
No. And that happens a lot. It's so you do speak when you're in these integrated spaces. You're like, you really do feel like, okay, everything's on my back. Like if I say something, they're going to take it. Like my black friend said, or my black coworker, or my black person I ran in on the street said, and it's like, yo, I'm like, we're not a monolith. We're all different people. We come from different backgrounds. And I just feel like we're not respected as such. And when we're in these spaces, it's never really integrated. You know, in a lot of these spaces, it's like one or two, and they're looking at you like, well, you know, and then it's like what do the black people think? Courtney, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'm like,
you the whole black representative.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm like
man.
the representative XYZ million people like me right here. And I'm like, no, that's unacceptable. And you understand how problematic that is?
I'm gonna tell you what one of my mentors told me. Speaking I statements, like I said, this is my opinion. I am mine. So you know what I mean? Because let them know I don't speak for everybody, but you know, say your piece. Make sure you say your piece though. Like so, you know, I don't really get put in a lot of spaces with all white people because I think they figured out that. You know, I really say a lot of crazy stuff, and they don't really be wanting to deal with a lot of the crazy stuff I say. So they don't put me in a, you know, I'm not one of those people they put in. Plus, I'm a fat black dude with a beard, so they really don't want to hear nothing I gotta say.
Wait, what? Time out. Wait a second. I go to play. What?
I'm in education. I'm in education. And listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm in education, right? And so when you go into educational spaces, if you don't look the part, they don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Even though I know I'm smarter than 95% of the people in the room, it doesn't matter because me having the experience and having the intelligence doesn't matter because they don't want to hear anything I have to say because I'm bearded. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I would rather wear a t-shirt than you know, even though I got a $90, you know, collar shirt in the closet, it don't matter to me because none of that matters. Like I'm there to serve people. You know what I mean? And so when I'm there to serve people, I'm there to do a job. And the other thing is I always tell them I ain't come here to make friends. I came here to work. And so especially when I'm in those spaces, I have to make that very, very clear because I got fired from 2 jobs because I wouldn't go to no happy hours with them. I wouldn't do anything outside of the job. I would not do none of that stuff with them because I didn't come there to do that. And so they said I was something about culture, something about how I was harmful to the culture, and then I was out of there. And I was cool with that because if it's harmful to the culture for me not to be there, then I'm good with that. I'm totally 1,000% Dougie with that, and I'm out of here. You know, love, peace, and hair grease to those people, and I'm good.
Right.
You're not a
Let's continue on with Latoya. I don't understand. What did Trump ruin? Oh, Trump ruined lit. Yeah, you're right. Right. All right, so Creighton Hustle says, I work in a small group with Mexicans and I'm black. I already feel on the outside because they speak in Spanish and they are very friendly with each other. If I use slang that exclude me even more. Yeah, I get it.
It's tough.
Marvin says, very true, Corey. Corey, you ain't never lied. We make sure that we just say black people because POC is a cop-out. I agree. I think there are times to say it, but more times than not, I think we should be saying black people, in my opinion.
Have you seen the biopic conversation? The BIPOC?
Black indigenous people.
I was like, no.
Let's just erase that from the
black indigenous what is it? Is BIPOC?
Black indigenous people of color. I asked the question on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
A lot of people chimed in, and I'm like, well, doesn't POC already cover this? So they said a lot of the indigenous didn't feel like it covered them, so they created this whole new term.
But no, it actually came from academia, and I'm pretty sure it was white academia that did it. It was not an ask of indigenous people, and I'm really tired of these asks on other people.
I don't know. I don't care. It don't get none of my energy. That's all I got for it.
But it's getting legs. That's my concern. So 5 years from now, we have to deal with this new term that is disrespectful to both groups.
Send them all to my page so I can cuss them all out.
What's so irritating about this? Like there's actually a clip on YouTube. Like Malcolm talked about this. Like having the conversations we have, Malcolm addressed this years ago.
So many.
There's so many, but this specific one, Malcolm actually addressed it. He was talking to one of those black bourgeoisie brothers. I'm gonna find the clip and put it in the Black Wealth Project group. But he addressed this specifically, which is so crazy.
All right, Latoya says because we had to stop expecting white women to denounce or seek to change the hate that they birthed. Wow, Latoya's in the building.
Talk to him, Don DeMarco.
The Karens need to be stopped
at all costs.
Yeah. All right. So Sharita says not only that the white woman on the Trayvon Martin trial, but when the young lady testified on behalf of Trayvon, I can't remember her name. Nobody really understood her. They hated. Oh, I remember her. That was her. That was her friend. Yeah,
his friend.
They hated her attitude and the way she spoke. People painted her as in a negative light. If more people of color, specifically women, were there, she would have been treated more fairly, and perhaps it may have changed the trajectory of the trial. But you know what? But let's call it like it is, right? Respectability politics has never really helped black people.
Oh my God.
And I saw a lot of black people chastise this young lady for the way she spoke. Instead of listening to what she said and the intent of what she said, they criticized how she said it.
And I believe her name was Rachel Gentile, something like that. Rachel Gentile was her name.
Yes, thank you for that, Sharita. That was I remember that now.
Amazing point. And you're so right. That respectability politics. Listen, Malik and I were having a conversation about the real estate game and being black real estate agents and how you want to work for a black broker, but a lot of time the respectability politics prevents that because they want you to listen, I wear hoodies to closing. It is what it is. Like that because those are like the people I represent and my folks, but a lot of black brokers have issues with that. And when you ask them why, I've literally had black brokers tell me, because you want the white folks to look at you this way, I can't do business with you.
Let me just say this real quick. So people used to ask me, well, Kamari, what's your dream? And I said, my dream is I get a call. Somebody needs some funding for a building, for a business. I come from Hawaii or some exotic tropical place. I got on my shorts, my hat, and my flip-flops. I come and I drop out the check and then I leave. Jimmy, you are basically doing the same thing. You're going to either pick up the check or drop the check. We're talking about settlement, y'all. Just shortcut, right? Either way, the money's there. There's nothing else.
No, but what I'm saying is my clients don't mind it because of the folks that I represent. But I'm talking about I have literally had black brokers tell me that you can't do that because, and they will tell me like flat out, you don't want the white folks looking at you this way. And I'm like, I don't care how they look at me. Malik can attest to this. That this happened. Malik can attest to this.
I know that. But in the meanwhile, I used to work at Keller Williams, Philly, downtown. Like the brokers, nothing negative to say about them, but it is a white, Jewish, pretty much owned brokerage. It's a mixture. On Fridays, they play music throughout the whole office all day. Friday is hip hop day. The most settlements happens on Friday. They play all the unedited version. We're talking about Little John ski on the wall, like Ludacris. Move, get out the way, like all unedited rap records, and that's okay in their space. Nobody complains about it. Nobody says that's unprofessional. Nobody says, "Ooh, I'm not coming here again." They like, "Oh, it's pretty hip. It's a hip and cool." Imagine that being a black office and you're talking about to the window, to the wall, to the sweater, to my balls, and it's an 80-year-old baby on her duplex. You know what I'm saying? It's like that just is not. Like they don't gotta. They call it in the school, but we be us, and it's not cool.
We're not allowed to be us. We're not allowed to be authentically us, and I think that's part of the problem. But a lot of it is what you said. The respectability politics is what put that thought up. Because me and Malik were just having this conversation, and you know, but I've seen them like, yo, they'll come to settlement. Like I've done several settlements where you know, a white agent will pull up, like, you know, Malik was talking about Hawaii shirts. You know what I'm saying? Dusty looking jeans, like they don't care. But the thing is, if they're good at what they do, no one looks at them that way, right? Even their own folks. But sometimes it's our own folks that are afraid to let us be unapologetically who we are.
Yep. And it's sad.
But yeah, don't show up to court that way. Hold on, time out. Let me be very clear. Do not show up to court unapologetically who you are.
That's a little different. That's a little different. That's a little different.
Right, so hold on, Courtney. We need to code switch in court. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Code switch
Your
in
freedom
court.
on the line. Code switch up. You got your freedom on the line. Code switch up.
Or money, or even money on the line. You wear a collar shirt with a tie and a suit that fits well.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a place where you want to.
I mean, unless you're in court to try to like do jury duty, and again, we talked about you need to serve jury duty. But if you're trying to get off, all you gotta do is go to. Listen, here's a hack for you guys: go to court when they're trying to pick you for jury, and you wear a Free Mumia T-shirt. They will never pick you.
Yeah,
that goes against your point, Jimmy. You said we need more people.
No, I'm just saying. I was just putting that out there, but no, I do think we need to serve. But I was just giving a hack just in case, like, you know, like.
Can we
I'm just saying,
Winston Belly, go back to CW Belly, go up a couple. Right? I want to talk about Winston. I worked with Winston for 3 years. He runs his own business. He serves the autistic community, adults with autism. And his business is awesome. His business is called Behavioral and Cultural Development Solutions. And he is an awesome dude. He serves adults with autism. So if you have children that have aged out of the public school system and need a place to go for adult autistic services, my man Winston has a business that deals with adults with autism.
Salute to him. Salute. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's get to the rest of these. All right, Adrian says, I was in a private group, black women who quilting, y'all. Yeah, black women are known for quilting. But guess who else was in the private group? I didn't even ask. I just left. We are complicit in the entire issue. Yeah.
Y'all love Adrian. Your Adrian is hilarious, yo.
But I think she said quilting twice to let us know. Like, black people have a history of doing quilting. Like, patchwork quilts is like a major thing, and we use them to tell our history over the years. So
I need a red, black, and green quilt.
Okay, so a Scoofy quilt.
There you go.
Please pardon my typos. I'm multitasking. All right, come on, Elizabeth. I need you to focus on us. We like only children in here. All right, Courtney, the folks that you call, you are a credit to your race. Yeah, they're major. All right, so Marvin says exactly, Courtney. Someone said it. We are only good with them until they feel we are showing that we have something more and better to offer. That happens in corporate America, as we all know, more times than not. Slave master mentality in today's free world. Give us a coin and give in a good review so we can put in another few years before they find us useless.
Ooh.
Bars.
Yeah.
All right, True Corey, you're not a team player.
I said that. I did, like, that's the next thing. It's like, oh, it's something about culture. You're not a team player. And I will tell you my story about railing against that.
You know my response to this? I'm not. I'm here to work and get paid. I don't care nothing about what y'all got going on here besides that. I keep it 100.
So this is hilarious, y'all. Elizabeth says, thank God for this pandemic. I don't have to go to happy hours or engage with work.
Salute.
But that keeps you away from good black folks at these happy hours, at black establishments, right? Listen, I want to say this to y'all. If you are a member of a black organization, right? A black organization that serves the black community, please, please, please make sure they do the best that they can do to buy black. You cannot really call yourself a black organization if the first thing you do is spend money with white folks. I
listen, I came at somebody in a group. He's the founder of a black real estate group. And then when he listed his house, he was Mike McCann. I'm like, bro, how you?
Mike McCann is white, right?
Yeah,
yes,
he's
he is.
very white. very white.
Listen,
And then I made mention. Listen, when I made mention of it in the Black Real Estate group, they attacking me like he can use whoever he want to get his house. So you're right, he can. But change the name of the group. That ain't that. What you said right there ain't that.
Yeah.
You the
Yeah,
founder. Listen,
that's Kamari talked about that a little bit earlier, Malik, and I said it on here before. Like, we have representation in so many spaces, right? There's some things we just not gonna be able to provide, like a black-owned gas station. That's difficult, at least in this area. But those spaces that we have representation, it's absolutely insane. It's insane to go to first of all, it's insane to go to a black real estate agent, a black attorney. Yo, we got some of our folks out here, and I know Malik mentioned it before, that go to Asian barbers. Like, how you a black man going to an Asian barber, dog? Like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, we got representation in certain spaces we should never have to go outside.
I do want to talk about that one of these episodes, Jimmy, like the spaces that we are not in, like gas stations. There are some places that have black-owned gas stations. They're not. If we are spending a whole lot of money on something, it behooves us to really sit down and strategize and say, hey, we spend a lot of money here. We need to figure out a way to get our money back. Yeah. I've been saying for a long time, there's no black-owned pizza and cheesesteaks places in Philly. There is a brother that has one. I believe it's downtown. I got to figure out the name and go down there and spend some money with him.
Man, listen, a friend of mine opened up a gas station in Baltimore last week. You know, I told him how proud I am, you know, proud I was of him opening his gas station. But in my mind, like, gas is obsolete. You got to do something different.
Anytime soon.
Yeah.
Don't start Malik. Don't start Malik. He thinks self-driving flying cars will be here next week. Don't start him. Don't start him.
Listen, they're coming, but they ain't here yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, he got a good 10, 15 year run. He good.
Yeah. Possibly 20, 25. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not 15, bro. But go ahead.
All right. So I stay in solidarity with Corey. I'm not an after work happy hour person either. Thank goodness for working from home. Y'all here for this pandemic, I see. All right, Karan says, what's up, Karan? Thanks for being at our pre-show on Clubhouse, and thanks for coming.
Salute, brother, salute.
Karan says Dr. Newton did the same thing. I gotta find that clip. What did he do? I missed that.
What the Jim was talking about.
Oh, Malcolm, like, I guess addressing like some of the stuff. I think that's what he's talking about, like addressing some of these like specific issues. Already having addressed.
Oh, with black folks basically caping for white folks. I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So Willer says, yo, Jimmy, that credit to your race thing can be also perceived from another vantage point. I'm reading The Half has never been told, Slavery and American Capitalism, and there's a constant reference to enslaved Africans being described as credits and debits. The author displays how we were systematically dehumanized and just being marks in an accounting ledger. Great book for any. All right, that's the next book, y'all.
I want to shout out Willard because Willard stay coming through with the fire book recommendations. Willard must got the craziest library. So I'm
Library of Alexandria.
I'm taking that thing serious.
Willard was in African American studies, and I mean, he was. This is a testament. I'm gonna just brag on Willard a little bit, right? Because not only does he get it from a cultural standpoint, he also getting it on the money standpoint. So he understands you have to do both. Again, I'm going to reiterate that we need both. We need our bread and we need our cultural competency, and neither one can lack. Not today. Not today.
All right. Willard's an amazing brother, man. He's in our investment group, but also he was on the By the Hood podcast. Go check him out. He tells his whole story, but he was taught directly about Sonia Sanchez, I believe. So, but his library got to be crazy. So I gotta make sure I grab that book.
Willard, do us a favor, please. Can you put the name of that book in the Black Wealth Project group?
And the author, if you can.
And the author. And by the way, anybody who buys it, please do not buy from any other big book distributors. Please only buy it from a black-owned bookstore.
We might should do a book exchange one day, man.
We need a Black Wealth Project book list. We need to come up with a whole comprehensive list that we pin in the group. Like,
I agree. No, Max's is not black-owned. If you talk about Broad and Erie or German,
Max's is trash anyway.
Not at all, brother. Blew my mind when I found that out.
No, it's not black-owned.
Yes. Corey, I don't do happy hours and potlucks either. Listen, once outside opens, we gonna have our own happy hour or something. They love our culture, but they don't love us facts
at all.
T-shirt.
Working in advertising for a moment, I thought I had to show up in suits to meetings because that's what I see agency guys doing. But when I started to dress like myself, I found I got more traction. Now I have a closet full of suits. Hey, there's a couple nonprofits you can donate them to because some people do still need suits for job interviews.
People going to court, right?
Yeah, people go to court, yeah, that's a fact. So Marvin says, "LOL, Jimmy." Dwight says, "Well, Empire of Cotton is another Empire of Cotton." Dwight, put that in the group for us.
Yo, never read that one either.
Dwight, do me a favor. Put in Black Wealth Reading Guide. Just create a post and then put that in there, and
we gotta pin that too, so we can all add to it.
We'll pin it.
I haven't read Empire of Cotton either.
No. All right. Bailey says, "Thanks, Corey."
Salute to you, brother.
Elizabeth says, "My experience has been you have to code switch." Yes, I'll say what I need to at all times. If you strategically don't hear me, I'll help you. I've also learned to exit left on spaces that don't agree with me. Yeah,
I think that's a good point though. Like protect your space.
Yes, your mental space. Prathan also says, "Panel thoughts on this. Do you feel that you should have stayed segregated? In the past, there were marches and fights to end segregation, but sometimes I wonder if it was better if we were still separate."
That's a whole show, beloved.
Before your answer, who is that person?
Prathan Hustle.
Yeah. Who is that person?
I see where you're going with this.
No, I did.
My answer to that question is that's a whole show. Like, I don't have a short answer for that because there's so much, context and nuance missing.
I want to see the page before I say anything.
All right, so listen, I got something. I got some. Oh, go ahead, Corey.
I think integration is one of the things that killed Black Wealth, and like we talk about with Black Wall Street. The thing that killed Black Wall Street wasn't the bombs. It was integration, and it was that Black people think white people ISIS COVID because that's what we've been taught and had it bred into us for hundreds of years. And so the thing about integration is it's not integration, it's assimilation because we don't have any power. Integration is a thing where two people come together or two parties come together and there's a trade-off and a balance of power, right? It's not integration because they're not integrating any of the things that give us power. They're only integrating the things so that they can take from us. And so that's assimilation. That's not integration. They're just taking and taking and taking, and they're not giving us anything that gives us power. And so so what we call an integration hasn't even been integration. It's been assimilation.
Right. So I'll take this. I don't think we actually have either. We don't have integration or assimilation. I think we had desegregation. And I think when we say it was the worst thing for us, right? Well, why was it the worst thing for us? If we were desegregated, integrated, assimilated, and we didn't know to support our own businesses, that says there's something wrong with our culture, in my opinion. So no, I don't think it was the worst thing for us because listen, we wouldn't be able to do this now had it not been for desegregation or civil rights or what have you. We wouldn't be able to fly on planes. We wouldn't be able to own cell phones 9 times out of 10. We would still be relegated to servitude type class service or caste system, which we still are. And I know.
What are you talking about?
I knew it was coming, Corey. I know that's why I self-corrected. All right, so Karan says, yeah, no,
it's not.
I'll give you a pass, Karan, because you're not from Philly. All right. So Adrian says, I try to stay off of open pages that are supposedly by and for Black women. I question the people who run some of these pages. I do too. That's another conversation. But when Black women are engaged in the conversations, here they come. That's us too. I must be Black, but what I will say is that sometimes you can pick up that energy from these women, and love is love. But I've had to tell a few that just because you're enjoying Black, that's why I had to slow up. So just because you're enjoying black eggplant, it doesn't make you a Black woman. Did anybody watch The Godfather Phone?
Yes, sir.
So do you remember that scene when he said you can help the Black movement by servicing me or something like that? They went to the bathroom.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So yeah, a lot of people have taken advantage of that.
And next season about to start too, by the way.
I just saw that. All right, so Richard said, I swore, dude, making the cheese sticks on,
I think
man.
Mexican's Korean, though, right?
I think so.
It-
All right, Brandon also says, gotta run a great show as usual.
See, that was Malik's fault.
No.
So Sean Flip said, no, Maxes ain't black. All right, CW Bailey says, can we discuss vertical integration strategies? We have so many industries in this group. Yeah, I think we talked about that a couple of times, actually. Vertical integration. All right, Monica says 40 acres needs to be on that list. It's fictional, but a conversation starter.
Have y'all read that book, yo?
I haven't. I don't even think I know.
Oh my god. As a brother that wrote it, oh my god. I think the movie rights got bought. That's a pretty good book, though.
All right, so Dwight or Willer, can y'all put that on the list, please? Appreciate y'all. All right, Jose Sanchez says, yes, prior to integration, we had land wealth and more financial wealth.
Well, I used to share that in Clubhouse. She was saying that black ownership was higher
during segregation than it is now.
Home ownership, it is, yeah.
Yeah, right. Home ownership.
So we lost about like 11 million acres of land. We get like 1 million acres.
Great migration from in the South. You got to remember, in the South, there were more black people than white people. And so when the white people start burning the black people off the land, they just took it from them.
Not to mention all the black farmers that got robbed as a result of that land pass.
As of right now, I'm personally have a conflict because I showed a video last year, whatever. I was in Danville, Virginia on a farm we went to that my ancestors slaved on, and they have their unmarked graves are still on that land as there. So I'm like, damn, do I have to buy that? Do I have to buy? It's like a 1,000-acre farm. I can't buy all that. But do I have to buy a couple acres my family, my ancestors are actually buried on? Do I have to buy that, for personal reasons? But I don't know. I'm done with that now.
All right. So CW Bailey says, our biggest issue I've found is feeling scarcity because we are so marginalized, meaning sometimes we are afraid to do business with each other because there's not enough facts. Me and Courtney talk about that all the time. We only see a small percentage of what we're allowed to see or participate in. I want to talk about that a little bit directly because people see me direct business. It might be inside the tax space or the financial advising space, and they say, "Come on, why don't you keep that business?" Well, I tell people that person probably will be better served by the person I'm referring to, and I'm not afraid to give away business because one hand washes the other. As I give something away, I allow space for something to come back to me.
Yep. You can't receive anything if you're always full. You
Yep.
can't ever receive anything. You gotta rethink in abundance. You can't receive if you're always full.
Facts.
Man, you gotta think in abundance, man. Y'all ain't heard Creflo tell y'all that?
Hi, Jimmy.
We ain't doing that. We're not doing that.
No, Jimmy. But to the point of scarcity and abundance, we do talk about. Mari and I do talk about that a lot, and it is really important that we do talk about, because when you live in poverty, you create the poverty mind. You live and cultivate the poverty mindset. And one of the things about poverty, it doesn't allow you to think beyond, and it also thinks that you also have a very limited pot. So beyond thinking in the present and then also thinking that you have a limited pot puts you in a really bad spot.
Facts.
So, and I mean, it's continual. And I feel like, so many of us suffer from that, is that we're so concerned about this $1,000 bag that we lose this $100,000 that relationship that can be built over time.
Yep.
Absolutely. So Elizabeth says, I don't know if I agree. Black Wall Street had things white neighborhoods did not. So what don't you agree with, Elizabeth?
I think I think you're actually making his point though when you say that.
Yeah.
That was a comment about integration and Black folk. I got you. All right. So Latoya says, "Yep, you're only able to keep that which you're willing to give away." Facts. Woo. Facts. Sean said, "Money cometh." Oh Lord, y'all got all the phrases. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So that completes our segment on are black folks entitled to safe spaces? Are black folks entitled to safe spaces? I think unanimously we all say yes. And as we move forward, right, one of the things I want us to start doing is kind of proposing ways we can start implementing some of the things we talk about on the show. And I would say, reach out to your brother and sister and have a conversation and say, hey, let's talk about this. But not just the regular stuff. Not what happened on the soap operas. Not what happened on the haves or have-nots or green. What's the church? What is it?
No, y'all not gonna slander Greenleaf on here. Y'all not gonna do
Greenleaf,
that, dog.
yeah.
Y'all not allowed to slander Greenleaf though. That's my thing though.
Listen, let's say how can we once we are done on this earth leave our family in a better position? That's the question to ask. Ask your siblings that some quote unquote holidays are coming up. Ask that question and then build upon that question. And listen, I get everybody can't work together, but if you never ask, you'll never know who you can work with. So we got to start moving these conversations forward. Tonight, like I told you, I kind of boggled the B.O.B. of the week and also the Black Icon of the week. So I'll still carry this one on my back as well. So my Black Icon of the week is A.G. Gaston. This is a wonderful book about him that basically changed my life.
Shout to Don.
What's that? Oh, yes.
Shout to Don because he had the book cover on his YouTube thing.
That's what made me think about it. So shout out to Don for coming through. You didn't even know it, right? But A.G. Gaston was a man in the South in Alabama, to be specific, who basically built $100 million empire during
Black Titan.
Black Titan is the book that his nieces wrote, and then there is another book that I want to say that he wrote. I cannot think the name of it, but Black Titan is a book that all of us should read. I mean, again, to see what this brother did, he went against the grain, right? This man actually bailed out Martin Luther King. So as I say that, right, a lot of times we pit Black business people against Black activists, right? And even though, people think that Martin Luther King was loved by everybody, he was not. A.G. Gaston was in that, but he got past his limiting beliefs and thoughts and wound up bailing out King a few times. So, I wanted to show that to say that Black people, Black businessmen have always been intertwined in the movement of Black folks, y'all. So let's not hate on our Black capitalists.
Oh, real quick, Elizabeth was clearing up what she has said. She wasn't talking about what Corey said. She was talking about what you said about us not having. So I wanted to make sure we clear that up because
okay, cool. I was responding to the statement that we wouldn't have cell phones. We had indoor plumbing without white folks. We would have been fine with assimilation.
Without. She cleared it up on the next, John.
Thank you. That's an interesting point. We created indoor plumbing. I don't know if we would have had indoor plumbing. A lot of us didn't have indoor plumbing, even in the South after 1954, when civil rights kind of started. But I get your point, and I have no argument about it. But I don't know if we'd have had access to all of these luxuries.
Some folks don't have it now.
Right.
I got family in the deep South, and I went to visit them, and they didn't. And I felt like the bourgeoisie Negro. I'm like, what you mean? But anyway,
wait, what?
Right. All right. So he killed it on the vertical immigration tip. Okay.
Jimmy Roscoe Jenkins.
All right. Green Power is the title of the other book. Green Power. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
All right. Karan says he also let them use his hotel as a workroom. Absolutely. And didn't charge them. And so again, when we talk about desegregation, assimilation, integration, whatever you want to call it, right? A.G. Gaston's had hotels. Once the veil was lifted up, people wanted to go to those white hotels. Why didn't they continue to go to Black hotels, y'all? I mean, I don't think geographical location and proximity really defines that. I got a brother who I'm really close with, by the damn, what is his name? I can't remember his daggone name. I'm seeing this. Fred Williams. Fred Williams always says the strength of the wolf is in the pack, right? And then he talks about, because Fred did a whole lot of Kimi oil sales back in the day, and he worked for some Asian folks. And he said anytime he would go to the lunch, dinner, or breakfast with them, they went to a Korean-owned place. He said they would drive 20 miles out of the way and go to a Korean-owned place. So why didn't we have that mentality back in the 50s and 60s?
You know what's crazy?
That's no shade to our ancestors either.
No, I know multiple brothers who have like successful businesses with white frontmen. And part of me is angered by it, but then part of me is like, I can't knock them. What they're doing is working, and they recognize, like, there's one brother on his website. You would think that, 6F has it. Yeah. But he's the one behind it, and he's very successful at it. And he split tested. This is same service, same level of service, but putting the white face on makes his business $1 million business versus putting the black face on it.
Yeah. All right. So
And hold on. One part I'm missing, and he's servicing black folks, by the way.
Yeah.
That says a lot. The white man's access colder, according to his customer base, sadly. All right. So Adrian says, so how do we push back on these folks who say that we should be all inclusive, even on social media? I always say the black people can't be racist. Reply. You know what? I'm at the point now where I'm ignoring them. I don't think they deserve my time or energy. So I'm gonna do like Jimmy and Corey and own my time and space and just keep it pushing.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this.
On your ThomasSpace.com. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna front. In my own personal spaces, I make time. I ain't gonna front. Like if I'm in a different space, if I'm in a multicultural space, I let people say and be whoever they want to be because it's not gonna affect nothing I'm doing. So if it's not gonna kill me to watch it or listen to it, I don't care, right? But if you come in my space with that bull crap, you gonna get clapped, and I'm gonna pull out all the heavy guns. I'm gonna hit you with the Gatling gun first, and then if you survive that, I'm gonna go back and get the rocket launcher and pop you with that. And then if that don't work, I'm gonna go get the rest of the army and come back and get you. Like I'm not gonna let you off my space until I crush your spirit. Because
so Corey's got a love affair for war. Hug, squeeze that still.
Oh, Corey, I'm gonna
culture.
I forgot. Corey, there's a Minority Cannabis post where this man decided that he wanted to tell us that that black people need to stop making everything about race when it comes to the war on drugs. I'm gonna tag you in that.
Yeah, tag me in.
Listen, I don't think. Listen, I get so many like phone calls and inboxes from Mayo Sapiens that Corey and I went to school with. That be like, just trying to like, is he okay? Like, I'm afraid to say this to him, and I'm like, yo, that man is that man. Like, if you, don't come to me with it, but
because they can't come on my page and express their, I don't have any, if they bring white salty tears, I'm going to put it on my salad and eat it. So
yeah,
I don't.
Shout out to Latoya. She went to Central with us too. But listen, a lot of those Central folks be like, be in my inbox because Corey done cussed them out.
Yeah, man, I don't play that. You can't come in my space with that. Like if you want to go to your space and say that, I'll never say it because number one, I probably got you on like block or mute or something. But I don't care nothing about your feelings if you come into my space. I'll just be very, very clear. If you come into my space and you talk to me in my space, you get whatever you get. And so It's very, very clear. And that's why you don't never see a lot of that stuff on my posts.
All right, so listen, y'all, as we close out tonight, I got a request to somebody in the Black Wealth Project group. We need another separate post. We need a post for all the different terminologies that say it's 6F people.
Is a qualification.
Too loud. All right, that's fine. Too loud, whatever it is. We need that in the Black Wealth Project group, y'all. So y'all come on in to the Black Wealth Project group. Listen, I appreciate you all. Salutes to my panel. Thank you to my panel. I appreciate you all. We're doing good work here, y'all. And I appreciate the audience and humble by the audience that come here every week. So do us a favor, share this with someone who need this slang, who need this language, so we can kind of up level, but so we can up level ourselves and move forward in 2021 as we come forward. All right, next week, y'all. Next week we are talking about Kwanzaa and all things related to the culture. Nice. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Again, appreciate you all. Have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Go enjoy Confession.